chemistry test, questions 10 through 30. Yeah, let's finish this up. Atoms are made up of the particles. On your test, this was cut off. So what are the 3 parts of an atom? 3 parts of an atom. Yes. Sir, in the back. Excellent. 3 parts of an atom are protons, neutrons, and electrons. They need all 3 parts. They need the protons and the electrons to become neutral, and they need the neutrons to stabilize the nucleus. Inside the nucleus, there's a party going on right here. It's in the nucleus. It'll last the whole year. You've got your protons and your neutrons too. There ain't going to be any electrons for you. What is inside the nucleus of the atom? Protons and neutrons are correct. Which atomic particle has a positive charge? Perky Patty! Proton, it is positive charge. Elements are arranged on the periodic table according to what? Why is H first? Helium is second. Lithium is always third. Beryllium is always fourth. They're arranged like that. Why? The number of protons it is. All of the elements are arranged according to the number of protons, and that's how they get their number. Their identity is based on the number of protons. If you have the ability to fuse the nuclei of atoms like the sun does, you can actually change hydrogen into helium. And the sun does that all the time. And when it does that, it gives us light. The energy that's given off, because there's a lot of energy in the nucleus, when we merge them together, we're giving off energy in the form of light that the sun gives to us. So thank God the sun has the ability to do that. But then it's no longer hydrogen anymore because it merged those 2 hydrogens together to make helium. Okay, next page. Question number 14. Really? That's the same one. How about this one? Question 15. Did I skip 14? It was on that page? Okay. Question number 14. The atomic number equals what? What does the atomic number equal? Be careful. The atomic number for hydrogen is 1. The atomic number for helium is 2. So this number up here equals the protons and the electrons also if the atom is neutral, but none of them say that choice. This is telling you protons and electrons combined, so we add them up. So if I have 1 proton and 1 electron, that would mean the atomic number is 2. So that can't be right because this is the atomic number, 1. And it has 1 proton and 1 electron. So what would it only equal in this case? Protons only. Did you say that? I didn't. Oh, you're amazing. I think you said protons and electrons, but because that's the right answer, but it's not on here. The atomic number equals the number of protons, and if the atom is neutral, it also equals electrons. But a lot of times, the atom's not neutral. When you were doing your research on your elements, it could have told you that it had like an oxidation number. Did anybody find that in their research, that their element had an oxidation number? That means that it will give off electrons when in the presence of oxygen, or sometimes the electrons, like transition metals, all of the metals actually, they don't want to keep their electrons, they want to give them away. They don't have, like, the first group has 1 extra, so it doesn't want that extra one, so it gives it away. If it gives the electron away, it doesn't have equal protons and electrons, and it's not a neutral atom. It's going to have a positive charge. So atoms aren't always neutral, but you could always count on the atomic number equaling the number of protons. All right. The atomic mass, though, doesn't equal the protons, and we had a little, a guest scientist that actually used their accent to help you understand this. The atomic mass is always in the nucleus. The atomic mass in the nucleus of the atom, and that equals the number of protons and neutrons combined, because there's a party going on in this nucleus. The protons and the neutrons in the nucleus of the atom. All right, which of these elements is the lightest? In order to figure this out, you had to physically look on the periodic table, make observations of atomic mass. Oxygen has an atomic mass of 16, carbon 12, nitrogen 14, and neon has an atomic mass of 20. So the lightest element would be what? Yes, ma'am. The lightest element is carbon. That's the atomic mass. Excellent job. Which element has a symbol Cu. This was in the beginning. So we already know this one. Copper has an atomic mass of Cu. I mean, a symbol. Throw that at the girl behind you who's being fresh. A substance that is hammered into a shape and reflects light is classified as a... We hammer something. That means it's malleable. It reflects light. That means it has luster. These are properties that I can observe only in an element that is a... You know this. Tell me the answer. It's shiny. It reflects light. I can hammer it into shape, so it's a metal. Good job. It can only be a metal. Shh. Noble gases are what? Noble gases are group 18. We know this already. They have full valence shells, so therefore they are what? Michael Jordan, you don't want to answer? That's you in the back, Michael Jordan. And 4 is correct. They're not active with other elements. Hydrogen has 1 electron. It's not a noble gas. It is a gas, but it's not noble. Helium has 2 electrons. That's all that can fit. It's happy. Hydrogen's not. This one's highly reactive. This one is not reactive at all. It's not reactive. All of your noble gases have all of their shells or partial shells full. All right, moving on. 18, 19. Question number 19. Did I lose 19 also? Oh, perfect. Which element has an approximate mass of 48? You had to look on the periodic table to find this answer, and you could see that it is titanium has 48. Cadmium has, what is the, cadmium is at 112. And zinc has 65. My eyes are so bad. Krypton has, is that 80 something? Say it for me. 83? 84. So the only answer could be titanium. Which element has an atomic number of 63? A lot of people had problems with this because they didn't realize that the lacinides got pushed down on the bottom of the periodic table. So there's a space for them. There's a gap. You look down and you find that 63 is europium. How many protons does argon have? You know that argon is a noble gas. It has 18 on the top, and the number on the bottom is that 39 or 40? 40. So this is its mass, and this is its number, and the atomic number equals the number of protons, so therefore it has to be 18. Sodium has an atomic number of 11 and an atomic mass of 23. The number tells you the number of protons, and the mass tells you the number of protons plus neutrons. What tells you the number of electrons? How do you know sodium's electrons? The atomic number is also the electrons because the element wants to be neutral. So if sodium is neutral, it has 11. In real life, sodium never ever will have 11 by itself. If it's ever found, which is very rare because it's highly reactive, it would give away that electron. It doesn't want it. So it would always have a positive ion. So it would be a cation. How many neutrons does boron have? Boron has an atomic number of 5, an atomic mass of 11. So the 11 means protons plus neutrons, and the 5 means protons, and it also means electrons if it's neutral. So how many neutrons does it have? You have to subtract these two numbers, so you get 6. Moving on. This is a periodic table, and they're asking you where lead belongs. So 82 is lead. Where should we put it? Would it be here, A? Well, if you put it here at A, that's 33. This is 32. This is 31. Does lead have atomic number 31? No. This is 51. It doesn't go here because 50 would go here. That's 85. It can't go here. That's 84. It can't go here. That's 83. It would go here because that's 82, because your periodic table goes in order of atomic number, so you'd have to count and figure it out. So the answer would be C. If you got it wrong and you picked D, I'm not as upset if you put this, because if you picked B, that means you were just guessing, or A. All right, moving on. Looking at the periodic table again, they want to know which of these elements from this portion of the table chemically reacts similarly. So what do you need to do to figure that out? How do you know which one reacts similarly? You have to look at the period or the group. What tells you that? Yes, ma'am, in the back. The group. You have to look at the elements in the group. So what is in the same group as chlorine? Because this is their family. Chlorine and everything else in its family has the same type of reactions. So you go back to this. This is chlorine's family. Everything in chlorine's family is going to react the same. The only choice that's in chlorine's family is iodine. It's like 2 doors down from it. They're chemically going to react the same. Their family name is called the halogens. They all need 1 electron, so they're going to react similarly. All right, so iodine it is. Which element is a noble gas? This is like a redundant question. We had another question that I asked you about noble gases. What group number do the noble gases reside? Where do they live? What is the group number? Group 18. So you have to just look in group 18. The only answer would be argon. Once again, they try to trick you because oxygen is a gas, but it's not noble. Oxygen is definitely not noble. It reacts all the time. Things that are noble do not react. So I need to become more noble, so don't react negatively if something happens. That's not okay. You want to be calm and cool, just like the noble gases. Heaviest element. You look at the numbers, and you look to see where the heaviest element is. The atomic mass, it tells you here. The atomic mass is on the bottom. Atomic mass, atomic mass, atomic mass. This one's the heaviest. Freon is the heaviest. Where is it located? Is it in the top right? No, it's in the bottom right. So if you didn't get this one right, I want to cry too. Because you didn't need to know much except for how to interpret a chart. So when you took this test, a lot of the stuff were given to you. If you took the test that I gave last year, it was 10 times harder. I should have given that one. Actually, you did take this test. The take-home test was the actual test that I made up last year for this. Would that have been okay if that was your real test? Did anybody do that test without looking at references? And you got a perfect score? All right, but you wouldn't have gotten a perfect score because that one was a little bit harder, right? You would have done better if... Okay, so this little corner over here is the bottom right. Elements in the same group have the same what? If you're in the same group, you have to have the same what? Chemical properties, right. If you're in the same period, you have the same energy levels, but they didn't ask us that. But those are the kind of questions I would ask us. Because that's higher. That's a little higher level for us. Okay, this one's a good one too, because it's a little higher level. Which one of these describes an atom that is neutral? Well, right away, 2 of the answers are the same. So common sense would tell you, get rid of those, because they can't be the right answer. So 1 and 4 are both the same. Get rid of them. Now you're left with 2 of them. This one has 15 protons, 14 neutrons, 15 electrons, 15, 15, 14. So only 2 things are the same. In order for it to be neutral atom, what has to exist? It wants to be neutral. So if it's neutral, it has to be balanced. What needs to happen in order for it to be balanced? Exactly. The protons must equal the electrons. If there are 15 positive protons, you need 15 negative electrons. If this was math, it would give you 0. So instead of calling this neutral, we can call this the additive property of 0. Did you learn that? The additive property of 0. So I'm going to say all the atoms want to have the additive property of 0. In order to have the additive property of 0, you need to add protons and electrons together and get 0. Protons and electrons make it neutral. Isn't that correct? The additive property of 0? Yes, I know it is. I tutored yesterday in math. Love math. All right, so that is it. These are all 30 questions. If you had a problem with these questions, you need to review them because these questions will reappear magically on your benchmark. Not the same ones, but similar ones. And your benchmark is going to be soon. Yes, sir.